Welcome to Track E, the international track. My name is Carl Gerber, Chief Data Officer for Deloitte US. The MIT CDOIQ Symposium continues to expand our global reach. We have an excellent lineup of sessions that bring a world view. You are attending session 12E, Mercado Libre, Developing Data-Driven Culture. Mercado Libre Incorporated hosts the largest online commerce and payment ecosystem in Latin America, with more than 55 million buyers and 19 purchases taking place every second. To improve the customer experience, the e-commerce giant has the goal of enabling all of its more than 15,000 employees to access and analyze data, enhance the application of machine learning, generate an analytical culture, and therefore give more and more value to the data. In this session, we will talk about the key components, technology and human, we had to develop in the organization to carry out the deployment of this data-driven culture strategy. So first, a few housekeeping items. This session, along with all of the other sessions, are being recorded and will be made available together with presentations to all of the attendees. You do have the ability to submit questions via the Whova Q&A tab. And if you see questions in there that you like and would like to see addressed, be sure to vote them up. So with that, let me introduce Adrián Quilis, the Business Intelligence Senior Director at Mercado Libre. Adrián is the Senior Director. In this role, he is responsible for developing an analytical culture and embedding machine learning in the daily operations of the Latin American e-commerce leader. He has more than 20 years of experience in business intelligence across different companies, empowering users to generate their own insights. He is a systems engineer with an MBA in information systems. Adrián, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Carl. Let me share the screen. So, well, let's start. Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending this session. It is my pleasure to be part of this symposium and have the opportunity to talk about how we have developed an analytical culture at Mercado Libre. And as a head of data and analytics at Mercado Libre, I'm focused on helping our users to get more value from our data. And to achieve this, it is necessary to have a data-driven culture. So first, I would like to start with this phrase that I read in a Gartner report. And it said that technology is the easy part of a successful data and analytics strategy, and people are the challenging part of becoming data-driven. And actually, it says that people are the difficult part, and for me, it's I prefer to say that they are the challenging part. So, what I think is today we are all big data generators, and the technology available in the market to store and process this data is accessible to everyone. So the difference is made by companies that where the people understand the value of the data and take advantage of it. So achieving this is not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. And it requires a lot of work. It means a cultural change. And this is what I will try to show you in this presentation. So basically, how we move from the traditional BI approach, where only few analysts at the business units had the knowledge to look for the information in some MicroStrategy report that were generated by us, by our team, and all the requirements came to my team, from a new dashboard or a new report, or to change something in one of them. So basically, we were a bottleneck. And if you see on the right side, 7 years later, we have a completely different solution where the data and the analytics team, it's an enabler, and everybody at the organization can access to the data through different tools that we provide them. So what I see is that we have democratized the access to data, and the know-how is spread across all the organizations through BI cells that we created within this our business unit. So before I wanted to talk or to give you an overview about MercadoLibre. And MercadoLibre, as Carl said, hosts the largest online commerce and payment ecosystem in Latin America. We are present in 18 countries, including Mexico, Brazil, and of course, Argentina. And based on unique visitors and page views, we are market leader in each of the major countries where we are present. So our ecosystem is made up of the MercadoLibre marketplace, which is a fully automated and user online commerce and service. No, we have Mercado Pago, our fintech or payment gateway that facilitates transactions both on and off the MercadoLibre marketplace. Through Mercado Envíos, we offer the delivery of the products to sellers that operates in our platform by an integration with different carriers. Mercado Crédito facilitates loans to the consumers and merchants in the MercadoLibre marketplace. And we also offer a back office service to the sellers that operate in our platform through Mercado Shops, and the possibility to have ads display through MercadoLibre Publicidad. So in terms of numbers, with more than 65 million buyers, these buyers generate an average of 533 visits per second on our website. And in the first quarter of this year, we sold more than 220 million items. And more than 97% of these items were delivered by our business unit, Mercado Envíos, our logistics solution. So, and in terms of our fintech, we processed more than 630 million transactions that generated around $15 billion in TPV. So you can imagine that all of these transactions for a company that is a data-driven company, it's mean data. So for our team, it's mean that we are processing more than 20 billion updates every day to feed our analytical ecosystem that is formed by our data lake, the data warehouse, and the real-time solution. And we have around 11 petabytes of storage. We also manage 5,500 ETL jobs. What is important for me here it's that 1,500 of these ETL jobs were generated by our users in the business unit. So what I mean is our users are allowed not only to generate reports and dashboards, but also their own ETL jobs that we will add to our productions or productive jobs once they pass the checks that we request. We process more than 3.5 million queries per day, and our analytical community has generated more than 6,600 dashboards and reports. If you think about the second slide, actually, where we started with only MicroStrategy and few analysts accessing to the information. You can imagine that this is a really big change, and all of this in 7 years. So let's see how we got this far. From the beginning of our strategy to become a data-driven organization, we work in 3 pillars: in data, in technology, and in people. In terms of data, I'm sure that each of us in our companies is generating more data than ever before. It is said that in the next 3 years, we will create more data than the prior 30 years combined. So a good data strategy is critical for enabling the users to take advantage of the data. And at Mercado Libre, we have 2 different group of users: the business analyst and the data scientists or devs. They all work with data, but the technology and the knowledge required are quite different. So in terms of technology, you probably are gathering more data than you used to. So I think, or in my opinion, this is why it is so important to have the right platform with the flexibility to analyze this wide range of data. To our users, we give a complete data discovery platform. And in terms of people, we have developed an analytical culture at Mercado Libre to become a data-driven organization. So let's start with data. A data-driven company considers data as an asset across all the organization. And as a data and analytic team, our main objective is to democratize the access to data and make it available for everyone in the company. And then put this data to work through analytics and machine learning. So we have a lot of data. Not only the transaction that I show you, every interaction of our users is tracked, and we write more than 20,000 million events every single day. And these events goes directly to our data lake, the data warehouse, and the real-time solution. So we are moving around 5 terabytes of data per day. But let me give you an example of these 3 different use cases. For those analysts that are following a campaign like the Hot Sale or the Black Friday, we give them a BigQuery because what they need is real-time data, fresh data. For an analyst that is monitoring the business or generating reports and dashboards, we grant them access to consolidated data through the data warehouse. And our data warehouse runs on the Teradata cloud. And finally, for an audience such these data scientists or the devs that we have in Mercado Libre, we have our data lake, the Meli Lake, because what they need is more detail and history. So, and this data lake is running on S3 from AWS. So, as you can see, we have 3 different solutions, 3 different partners to support this type of audience. And this is in this way, basically, because we didn't find the solution in the market that would allow us to serve the different audiences with a single product. But right now, we are working in the consolidation of these 3 platforms in only one product. To what you probably started to hear, it's known about Cell Lakehouse. So this is about data. I want to focus more in culture, so I will talk, you will see that I will talk a little bit about data and technology. So in terms of technology, I believe that the cloud is a must. This moment, it's a must, definitely is a must. Being on-prem requires hardware and software upgrades and configuration, manage compliance and security, and take care of the availability and scalability. So the data engineers team, the data team need to pay attention to these activities. While being in the cloud, the team don't need to work in this kind of initiative. So the team, the data engineers team, can focus on developing the tools that are not available in the market or are not suitable for the company's needs. So, well, as I said, every interaction of our users is loaded into our analytical ecosystem. From here, our users can choose the tool they want to make, for example, their own report or dashboard. For example, a business analyst surely will go through Tableau, while someone in the IT side, like a dev, will prefer Looker. It is their decision. We only give them some advices, some recommendations, and best practices for each tool. But at the end, they can decide which tool they want to use in their daily task. Well, we also have Alation as our data catalog, and we are using to like the first step to data discovery. We also have our own machine learning platform called Fury Data Apps. But what I mean is, we are always evaluating technologies that are available in the market. We will incorporate those that make sense to us. But we also develop many of the tools that we share with our users, where we can find the right technology in the market. So let me give you an example. When we decided to send the data to the users, we could have asked them to download the MicroStrategy and the Tableau mobile app. But it didn't seem to be the most effective thing to do, because at the end they will be moving from one app to another, depending where the dashboard was generated. So for that, we developed Instagram. Instagram, it's a mobile app that allows our users to visualize KPIs and dashboards in their mobile by subscribing to the feed of their interest. So they will receive a photo with the last update of the dashboards in a single app, regardless whether they had been created in Tableau, MicroStrategy, or Looker. So if they are subscribed to a daily dashboard, they will receive only one photo per day, while if they subscribe to a real-time dashboard, they will receive a photo every 5 minutes. So now the data goes to the user and not the users to the data. And another example is our latest release, the data suite. This is a product whereby a business user, an analyst in the business unit, will be able to move through the whole analytics life cycle, from moving and transforming and loading the data in a database, in a sandbox, to querying this data to generate an insight or to generate a chart through our graphic builder, or after that they could run, for example, with advanced analytics and simple forecast. These are for those called citizen data scientists. So these two examples is I try to show what we understand as building cross capabilities that are not available in the market. So if you have the right data strategy and also the tools necessary to analyze this data, but you don't have a data-driven culture, what you really have, it's, in my opinion, is a significant expense. So this is why this pillar, the culture, working in people, it's the most important pillar, at least for me, in becoming a data-driven company. And it's that because the capability that currently exists to solve problems with analytics and machine learning is incredible. I mean, what data and analytics can do, it's amazing. But in a company where there is no data culture, it is difficult for these business users to identify those initiatives where where they could take advantage of data and analytics. So this intersection will be always low. Working on the culture helps this intersection to become bigger and bigger, and with the same capabilities, will we add more value to the business? So the question here is, okay, how is this achieved? I will say it's by trainings and more training. It's about coaching. It's about evangelizing. So let's see what we did in terms of developing an analytical culture. We started this journey in 2014. At that time, we launched the self-service strategy, and we were only 3,000 or around 3,000 employees. This number is important for me because you will see how we have been growing in the last few years in terms of our workforce. So the first thing that we did was to start with the key users program. We selected in each business unit at least one analyst to develop as a key user. A key user is an employee who are not from BI, but respond as such in their daily task. So they are a source of consultation for the team and work side by side with us. So we train them and keep them updated. As I said, education and training is the key to sustainability and to develop a data-driven culture. So as the number of employees, but I will say that the number of key users and the size of these BI cells were growing, we had to move from personalized trainings to workshops and massive trainings. And to reach more audience, we launched video recording. But as we were growing in the amount of employee and the audience of these workshops and these BI cells, we also grew in complexity. The question of our users were no longer about how they could add a chart in a dashboard or where they could find specific data in the data model. And neither was useful for them to attend courses with generic topics. So this is why we created Data Doctors, which are hours of data specialists from my team that we make available to the community, and the users can book a slot and come with their questions. Well, as we were growing in these audiences, we also were adding more tools. Remember that we started in 2014 with only MicroStrategy and Teradata. By 2019, we had Teradata, Redshift, our data lake. We also have MicroStrategy, Tableau, Looker, Alation, and many others. So the request for courses of these new tools multiplied. And we didn't have the available time, neither the people necessary to support this demand. So we developed Open Learning, our e-learning platform with training videos on the different tools and levels of expertise. So in 2020, we launched a program similar to the original key user programs, but orientated to teams that wanted to apply machine learning in some problem. It's more about citizens, data scientists in the business unit. So they bring the project, and during 1 or 2 quarters, we accompany them in the project development. And at the end, they take 2 assets with them. First, the project itself, and second, the knowledge they had acquired to solve similar problems in the future. But the number of employees in Mercado Libre, you can see that since 2019 started to grow exponentially. It was really difficult to us, or for us, to reach all the new employees with a clear message about how we use data and which are the available tools that we have to analyze the data. So we started to see some issues due to the lack of enough governance and best practices. Think about this future scenario with the hiring plan to reach 62,000 employees by 2025. That is why at the end of 2020, we started to rethink the culture strategy. We developed what we call data culture 2.0. But before talking about this data culture 2.0, I wanted to make a parenthesis here and show you some numbers about the trainings and these issues that I say. In terms of training, this is a summary about the trainings that we have had in the last year, in 2020. We had more than 3,000 employees who took at least one course or training in our open learning tool. The virtuality generated by this pandemic allowed us to increase the capacity of the workshops, and also there were some partners like Tableau which gave this workshop for us. So for this workshop, passed more than 900 attendees. As I said, for those more advanced users, we have these slots, these available hours of our expert, and through these data doctors pass more than 500 users. More than 120 participants pass through our program dataset. So you can see that we have, or we trained a lot of users through the different options that we have available. Even though we have situations like this. And through these 7 years, but I would say that in the last 3 years, we have been facing this kind of situation, and partly as a result of the self-service, but also due to the fast growth of our workforce. So some examples. Unsupported tools. For example, we have an analyst that joined our operation in Brazil and incorporated a reporting tool, ClickView, for his daily task because it was the one he knew from his previous job. So the diagnosis here is probably that he didn't know the available tools that we have in MercadoLibre. Another situation, we have some new employees asking for a license of a tool without having taken the corresponding courses to use them properly. So here the problem probably was that they didn't know about the availability of an all-learning platform and the requirement that we have in terms of asking a license. So, and well, productive sandboxes or not aligned teams, I imagine that many of these situations, anybody of you that have this self-service strategy had experience. In this case, some of these BI cells that we created took advantage of the availability of tools and the independence we provide them. For example, develop a dashboard that they were sharing with the C-level on sandboxes. So, or another team created their own training courses while we have a complete e-learning platform. So probably the diagnosis here was they were reinventing the wheel and without the best practices. So in all of these cases, we as data team were reactive. We showing them that there were these tools available or recommending to take some courses. But what we had was a lack of governance, lack of communication, lack of a proper strategy to proactively reach each and every new hire with the same message. So to correct this, what we did was to reformulate our strategy in terms of data culture. The first thing that we did was to create the team for culture and governance and put a head. And we also stopped trying to foster the data culture in Mercado Libre on our own. We added key players. First, our people team, the human resource team, to help us to communicate the data strategy at a scale through a formal training program, and help us to, in this push and follow up of the courses that we request as mandatory according to the job role. And on the other hand, the data leaders, these leaders of these PI cells or these data leaders that are working with data within the business units, with whom we have quarterly meetings to align the data strategy of Mercado Libre. And we also organize this all the initiative that we had around culture in two groups, learning and community. So in terms of learning, we designed a framework to ensure that all the users know the available tools and use them correctly. We help them and train them from the moment they join Mercado Libre with different types of courses. And in terms of community, we want to measure the use of data. We also want to know the maturity of our users. We also communicate outwards to attract the best talent. So this is the way in which we share the data-driven culture together with our partners. From the onboarding process or the beginning with our people team, we tell each employee why we are a data-driven company and how we use data to take decisions. On the left side, in yellow, you can see Data Academy with these three different levels of maturity. Explorer, for everyone, every new employee need to take the Explorer, where they will learn how to follow the main KPIs and where to find the main dashboards of their business units. Creator, for those who generate content and share this content with their teams or with the community. And Master, for those who want to further expand their knowledge, for example, in a tool or in an area of analytics. For example, we have a master for Tableau or for Looker, and we also have a master for data visualization. So in Data Academy, the users manage their time and take the courses according to their availability. While with the programs that we have on the right, users or these analysts must comply with the scheduled meetings and are accompanied by the specialist of our team. So, well, I talk about data seeds and data doctors. Data lanes, it's specific trainings for specific topics. Like, for example, training to optimize SQL queries. Data champions are working table of expert of these data leaders too, probably, that deliver content to the analytics community. For example, where one of these groups are working in developing alerts in Tableau. And in order to community and to spread this analytical community, we carry out several activities. For example, we have internal activities to align the communications and post in channels such as Slack or our workspace. We also have, for example, data talks to share knowledge within the data team, and also some kind of team building activities. In terms of external activities, we have, for example, post in our Medium blog. Every new tool that we develop and share with our users, or project that we identify as a key project, we ask to our team to make a post in our Medium blog. We also participate in conferences and meetups and different kind of events, and all of this is in order to develop an employer brand. And finally, we have a data-driven index to know, or this data-driven index allows us to know the maturity of each team, each business unit, each group of people that are working with data. We also seek the perception of our users about the service that we give them. So with this data-driven index and the learning path that we have, we could identify where we need, for example, to improve the use of a specific tool in some group, or in which team we need to have more data champions or data leaders. So with all this tool, we will recommend the courses, or we will make a workshop with them, or we will train them in order to improve this maturity in their team. So to close, I'm confident about that. What allowed us to develop this data-driven culture, it's our DNA, the MercadoLibre DNA, I would say. It's this entrepreneur DNA, being in continuous beta, innovating, putting our users at the center of the scene. So understanding that our users are more and more demanding every day, and this is a challenge for us. Understanding or knowing that what today can or could generate in a user, wow, unbelievable what you did, surely tomorrow will be something normal or common for them. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the talk, and we have a couple of minutes for the Q&A.
All right, Adrian, we've gotten some really good questions coming in from the audience. So the first one, you had a very comprehensive approach to democratizing your data, putting it in the hands of your business practitioners, giving them the right tools and the learning. Were there any game-changing initiatives that your business users had that really helped them to want to use your platform to deliver what they needed to do in their business? So any game-changing use cases or company initiatives that your platform really helped them with?
Well, yes, we have a lot of example of or initiatives, but I think that the game changing here is where you could where you pass through a meeting rooms and you see, or you can see that everybody in the meeting room have a report or have number that will sustain the position that they have. So in terms of becoming a data-driven, I think this is one of the most important assets when you see this kind of situation. Or for example, with the pandemic, everybody at the company was looking for information. For example, as our people team started to have some surveys and wanted to have a dashboards about the key indicators that they have. So in a company that use data as an asset, it's you can started to see that the data is a need, and the people understand the value. In terms of technology, I think we had created, as I show Instagram, or we also, for example, created a data integrator, and it was because of the need that the previous ETLs that we use didn't apply to our needs. So we developed our own ETL tool, and after that, we incorporate this tool as the ETL tool for all the companies. So I think there are many examples of how we take advantage of the technology that we provide to our users.
Okay. Your concept of having a data literacy index is trending now in this session. Folks wanted to know more. How did you define and how do you measure data literacy?
Well, we have this indicator is formed by different measures. For example, we measure the different tools that our users are using. We provide a lot of tools, so we measure the amount of tools that they are using, the frequency that they use any tool, and the recency that they have in each tool. And with this, we also identify which kind of users are beginners, for example, are using only reports that are generated by another teams or another people, which are the analysts that are generating content and sharing content, and we will apply it like I don't know how to say, but we will apply like a multiplier for those users that are generating content, and this is what we call our data champions in each team. So this is the way in we try to measure the literacy of our company, and it's we are making every time arrangement about this index. But it's good or it's useful for us to know how we are moving the maturity of the each business unit along the time.
Another question for folks on the call and organizations who are just starting their journey to build a data-driven culture. What's the most important thing to focus on first?
I will say that they will start understanding, we'll say yes, or at least what I did is start understanding which are the capabilities that you have in your team and in the company, and also which are the main needs in terms of data that the company have. Then try to have what is called as a quick win, because if you can show results, then it's easy to replicate in another teams. In our case, for example, when we started with this journey, we could start from our main business unit, the marketplace, but we decided to start with the smaller business unit that it was Mercado shops. Showing results with this small business unit was easy for us to replicate in this use case in the next business units. And well, it's necessary to have obviously aligned your data strategy with the business needs.
Okay, there's a lot of interest for you to share a gamification example. So you said you you've used gamification for your data culture. So the audience would love to hear one example of gamification.
Okay, well, as I say, we had Alation as our data catalog, and when the first thing that we did was to loaded all the data, all the report, all the dashboard to Alation. It was the first part, that is automatic. It was great. But then when we decide to improve the description, for example, of our main tables, it was all work about our team. We tried, for example, with lunches with our with these key users or these people at the VI cells, but it takes only 1, 2, 3 lunches and no more. They didn't come again. And I don't remember, but probably 3 years ago, we had around like almost 30–40% only of our data catalog documented. So we decided to make a game within our team. It was like the employee of the month, but it was, for us, was the curator of the month. They receive prizes for the top 5 curators. So with this kind of competition, we could move in 1 year for like 50 So this is the kind of gamification that we try to implement, not only in this thing.
I like that. Curator of the week or curator of the month.
The curator of the month was.
That's right. I like that. I'll have to borrow that from you. Our next question is, you're obviously achieving positive outcomes from your democratizing of the data and teaching folks how to use your platform and access their data. Have you seen a difference in the business performance between groups who've engaged with your democratized data platform and ability to generate their own insights versus others who don't use your insights platform?
Yes, it's easy to identify those units, those business units or those teams who are using data and taking advantage of it, and they are generating their own insight. Not only using data as a report that were prepared for a data team. It's when they have the capability to look for the data they need, the velocity of the decision is incredible. And the question that they have to us are always more complex than the teams that are not in so level of maturity. So, I mean, in Mercado Libre, it's like everybody are using data, but we have different level of maturity in each of these BI cells.
Okay, we have time for one more question. We have 2 minutes left, and this might be a really easy one. You've developed an extensive learning program for your employees. Did you build that program using mostly internal resources, or did you use external resources and training specialists?
No, well, it's like we say here in Argentina, it's a ni. It's between no and yes. It's the first I would say that the first trainings or the strategy is only about us, and the trainings for example, these video trainings we developed by our own, but then we ask for this new data academy. We work with the third party to have the same voice, the same visualization in the video and the same translation. So it's by our own, but we work with a third party only to prepare the videos and have like a standardized videos for every training.
Okay, so you engaged what I would call a production company.
Yes.
But really, it was internally your own experts provided the learning content.
Yes. Then it's the learning content is internally, and we define what we want to put in this video, or which topic we want to add to any training.
Okay. Well, very good. Adrian, thank you so much for telling us your story and the journey at Mercado Libre. We are at the end of our session, and the session is now over.
Well, thank you.